Hey guys, welcome to Confessions of an Avoidant. This is Wando here, and in this video I want to talk about, should you wait for an avoidant to reach out to you during no contact, or should you maybe reach out to them? I know that in this world of attachment, there's all these rules and blah 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 about no contact. And I do think they're generally true, but I also do think that people are very nuanced. We all don't fit in a bullet point list perfectly. You know, it's just like our zodiac signs. Like we'll be looking at our zodiac sign and we'll be like, yeah, that describes me. That describes me. Yeah, that's not me at all. That's not me at all. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's the same with attachment. It's nuanced. By the way, if you're not sure if you're dating an avoidant, I do have a quiz. Are you dating an avoidant quiz? It's linked in the description. Okay, so let's get into this. Should you reach out to an avoidant? Should you wait for them? It depends. That's the answer. And I want to talk about a couple of reasons why I think it's not such a bad thing for you to go ahead and reach out to them. Because at the end of the day, avoidant people, we don't have a lot of modeling and conditioning around initiating tough conversations, vulnerable conversations. So even if we're like really, really missing somebody, it doesn't mean we're going to like reach out to them. There's some avoidant people that are super, super repressed, and they can reach a point where they're really missing somebody, but because they lack so much practice and so much modeling with just, communicating, biting the bullet and just saying how they feel, they could really struggle even when it's, 3, 4, 5 months into no contact to like initiate that very tough conversation. Not because they're evil or a bad person or they're a villain, but because they're really out of practice, haven't had any modeling or very little modeling, really lacking in conditioning for initiating tough conversations. And it's a blind spot for them. We all have blind spots in our lives, in certain areas of our lives and behaviors. And then there are some avoidants who will initiate that tough conversation. I remember this in my last breakup. Both myself and my ex were avoidant. About 3 months after our breakup, I was like dying. I wanted to reach out to him. I remember there would be days where I would just be staring at his name on WhatsApp and I wanted to message him. And it's almost like there were automatic locks, like on a car, that every time I was feeling weak, I just couldn't do it. And I think a big part of that is that logically, I just knew we weren't compatible. I felt like he had so many things he had to work on. I do think he had covert narcissistic tendencies. He got diagnosed with some other things, is the best way I can put it, after we broke up. We're friends now, so he's opened up to me about a lot of things that he didn't open up to me about back then. So I feel like, I really feel like it was the best thing to not be in a relationship with that person. But I'm sharing this because, again, avoidant people, we often don't have the conditioning and the modeling to feel comfortable to be like, hey, I miss you, let's get back together. Especially the more severely avoidant someone is. And like I said in the previous video about 3 social media signs that an avoidant ex might reach out to you, I always see people that are like, if someone really cares about you, they'll communicate that to you. They'll tell you how they feel, blah, blah, blah. And in an ideal world, it would be that easy, but not everyone has the modeling and conditioning to feel super comfortable if their entire childhood, they were ashamed, yelled at, scapegoated, some people beaten and physically abused for communicating. There were like really horrible consequences. And so all they know is to not do it. So that being said, this is why it depends. And I want to share in particular 2 things that I think are important to know, that I think are relevant for deciding whether or not you should just go ahead and reach out to them. So the first thing is, if you know this person's patterns really well, and you know that they really, 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 really struggle with initiating vulnerable, super honest conversations. But if they were pretty great in other areas of your relationship with them, like maybe they were compromised in numerous other areas, and you notice, it's really with vulnerability that they just really struggle, it might be worth it to reach out to them during no contact. If you have gauged during your relationship with them, and an actual relationship, and you recognize a pattern that they struggle to be open and just really share hard things that are hard to talk about. If you feel like they struggle with holding back when it comes to personal things, being open about their family, being open about certain traumas in their life, maybe they don't really go into the details of why their day was like really, really bad and they just always keep things surface level, then these patterns could be a sign that this is someone who just really struggles to initiate vulnerable conversations. It might be worth it to reach out to them during no contact, especially if you're deep in no contact. Maybe you're like at least maybe 3 or 4 months into no contact. You had a relationship that is worth salvaging. There were enough mature, healthy, compromising components of it, and this is just a big blind spot for them, then I think, again, it's worth reaching out to them. The second factor for why you might want to just go ahead and reach out to them, maybe if they're giving you a sign that they're open, they're giving you the green light, that they wouldn't mind if you reached out to them. I just talked about this in the previous video that I made, some social media signs that someone is thinking about you, missing you, but they're not coming out and saying it, again, because they don't have that conditioning and modeling to feel super comfortable to just come out and say how they feel. As I said in the video, it could be social media signs. Some other signs, maybe you guys have a mutual friend and that friend has reached out to you, or maybe a family member, maybe a mutual friend or an acquaintance that you guys both knew that you weren't even close to is suddenly kind of contacting you. So I think if those things are happening and you're getting into these later stages of no contact and you're dealing with a very repressed avoidant, I think it could be okay to go ahead and reach out to them. So yeah, in an ideal world, when we have a breakup and we feel like the relationship is salvageable, they would just come groveling back and be like, I love you, I missed you, I'm so sorry. But like, again, attachment styles, that's just not how we're all wired to be. So I really do think that these are some nuances where it's not the end of the world. You're not a loser if you like crack and reach out to this person first. Okay, well, that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, if you have any other video ideas, suggestions, let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video.